This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social. We're at the Alexandra Palace. It's press conference day. I am once again delighted to be joined by Big Mo. Once again, mate, good to have you back over in the UK. How's things been, mate?
Good. Happy to be back. Feel like home away from home here. First time at the Alexandra Palace. This place is beautiful. This is cool. This is a cool venue.
Look, this is the first time that Sky Sports, correct me if I'm wrong, have done a Super Sunday boxing event. It's the first time they've ever done an all-female boxing event. It's just one thing after another, isn't it, Big Mo?
No, I think it's cool. And from what I gather, similar to what it's like in America, Sunday is reserved for American football in America, football here in the UK. So it's cool that, the time slot's available and they want to grow boxing. And that's been personally a goal for me, is to see what I can do to help grow the sport of boxing. So it's cool working for an organization that's trying to do the same thing, open up new audiences, open up new viewership. So it's gonna be cool. A daytime show. You don't see that too often.
That's what I mean. I was just talking to Shannon Ryan over there, and main events and boxing normally starts around 5 o'clock in the evening. We don't finish till 11 o'clock sometimes in the evening. What are you expecting really from Sunday? What the atmosphere is going to be like, how it's going to look, etc., and how much of a different feel it's going to be?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know, and I think that's kind of what's exciting, kind of what's fun, is that, a lot of boxing shows, as a general rule, you know what to expect, same general format. So I think that's what kind of makes this event cool, is you don't, it's going to be weird having daylight come through the arena. It's going to kind of feel a little bit different. But I think that's what kind of intrigues everyone about it. It's going to be cool.
Look, the main event, the main man we're here to see perhaps is Adam Azeem. There's been so much talk about Adam Azeem ever since he started boxing. Boxed for a great amateur club, for example. Won national titles. Even when I was working there, there was so much talk already. He wants to be the youngest world champion. You've been at so many events that he's fought at. What do you make of him so much as a fighter?
I think he's a star. The first show I did was Bournemouth, and Hassan fought on that card, and that was my first time meeting the Azeem brothers. And what I immediately recognized was just extreme confidence, right? Which is what you need to be. If you really want to stand out, if you want to be a star, you have to carry yourself that way. I love the Azeem brothers. They're really cool to me. They were friendly to me when I first met them, and I've become friends with them ever since. But I expect a show from Adam. I mean, Adam, he's carrying a lot of pressure. I think that a lot of people now have this expectation of what he's supposed to become, which is a world champion. And so far, I have no reason to think that he won't be. But this is a step up for him. Charlton is a great fighter, and been a underdog that surprised people with upsets from what I gathered before. Obviously, I've never announced him. No, it should be. I'm excited to see Adam in his first main event and on such an interesting stage. It'll be cool.
Yeah, and Charlton's someone who comes forward, and that will hopefully be an even bigger test for Adam Azeem. And we'll hopefully see him perhaps go through a few more rounds, perhaps, and we'll see a little bit more of what he's got in the locker. Big Mo.
Yeah, I think it's been funny. A lot of people have voiced their displeasement with some of these younger fighters getting through their competition so quick. It's like, well, hold on a minute. They're in their first 5 fights. What do you want them to do? They still need to build their career. So, we saw Fraser Clark step up his competition recently. He's been a big pillar of the boxer roster. Adam Azeem in a very similar position. So I agree. It's a step up for him. I think Charlton's going to come marching forward. He's not backing down by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that Adam's too much, in my opinion. I think his skill is really, really spectacular. And I expect the same, to be honest. I do expect Adam to win. I don't know if it'll be by knockout, but I would expect Adam to win. But I don't have favorites.
Look, just off camera there, you did mention a big fight that's just been announced, Liam Smith and Eubank Jr. So much talk has been going on about that fight possibly happening. Apparently they wanted it to towards the end of this year, but we're getting it early next year. Just talk me through how big that fight is, mate.
It's huge, both domestically and just around the world. I mean, when the Ben Eubank stuff all went down and that fight fell out, I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. And then they mentioned Liam Smith, and Liam Smith started talking about it. I was like, that's actually a really interesting idea. I think that's a really, really good fight, because I think you have the young hot shot that's really, really gaining a lot of traction in the sport and becoming a superstar. versus someone that's, already been at the pinnacle of the sport and has maintained his position in the sport, and is a veteran in Liam Smith. And I think that when you combine those two, it makes for a really interesting matchup. And to me, that's a pick 'em fight to me. I don't really have a favorite, and I think that's what's exciting for the sport, is to have fights like that.
Look, I think you've got to go off and probably start this press conference as soon as possible. But before you go,
Yes.
we all know tonight, 7 p.m, huge game. Football game between the US and England. Look, we love you over here. We're big fans. But I'm expecting you now to say how much you think the US are going to absolutely trounce England later on.
Listen, I'm going to make it clear. If the U.S. wins today, we're calling it soccer from here on out. You understand me? If the U.S. wins, it's soccer. If England wins, it's football. But no, in all seriousness, I want to go experience a real football match here. I want to go to a pub. I want to feel the environment here. I think the fandom for British football is amazing. And I want to experience it. I'm not a huge football fan, soccer in America. I'm not a huge fan. I just never really followed it that closely. But I can get behind real fandom, and so I want to go have the full experience. I think there is a place called BOXPARK around here, which apparently is pretty wild. And so I want to go check that out. It's going to be cool. But I'm excited to watch it.
I'm expecting to see footage on Twitter of you in BOXPARK, shirt off, beer everywhere. That's what I'm expecting. But Big Mo, again, terrific to have you into the UK once again. But thanks so much, Boxing Social.